Evening, Joe. How you doing? I can't hear you. You're muted.
Oh, I said I just got back from Florida.
Oh, lovely. How was it?
It was very nice. It was 80 degrees and sunny for the whole month.
Oh, and now you come back to this.
This is not bad. I like it. I do like it. And it's like going down. We drove, we watched all the scenery turn. The blossoms are coming out here, and then the further south you go, there's more. And then finally, everything's green in Florida down there by St. Petersburg.
Mm-hmm.
And then coming back, it's like going back into time, and you can watch everything. And now here, none of that stuff is blooming yet because it's still a little too cold. So it's nice. So I'm glad to be back. Florida's great, but I'm really glad to be home.
Well, welcome home.
Well, thank you. And you are, doesn't have your name here.
I'm
Erica.
Erica. I'm
Yep.
Erica.
Right. And I'm Joe. And do you know if my paperwork was ever done?
So yes, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit.
Okay.
There's been a whole thing.
Okay.
So we're going to talk about that. I'll announce this a little bit later. I'm going to hack the agenda I'm going to butcher the agenda. I put out an agenda and then a whole bunch of stuff happened. So I'm going to butcher the agenda all to heck.
Okay.
We have some serious stuff to talk about, and then we have some committee business to talk about. So I'm gonna hack the agenda all to heck later.
You're gonna hack it?
I'm gonna hack it. I'm gonna like dismantle it, put it back together, and then, yeah. So whatever I put out in the agenda, I'm gonna do a lot of adjustments to it.
You're gonna make a lot of adjustments. Okay, fine. Fine with me.
Yeah.
No problem.
So there's Chip. Oh, there's two people in the. And then there's Stephen. Hi, Chip. Hi, Stephen. Oh, Stephen's still joining. We have 5 minutes. And I did hear from Philip and from Book, and they should be joining momentarily. We have 5 minutes. Good evening, good raining evening. Hopefully only me is gone out in this raining evening.
Yeah, I don't want to go out.
The roads are not fun right now, I can tell you that much.
They're slippery?
They're getting a little icy.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Temperature is dropping.
Oh, man.
What's happening?
The roads are getting a little dicey.
Yeah, it's supposed to, it's mixed bag.
So I'm gonna wait 4 more minutes because we have a little bit of a tight agenda tonight. I know I sent out an agenda, but I'm gonna mix it all up. Keep you all on your toes tonight.
At some point, it won't take me long to review the membership situation and where all that stands.
Okay. So I'm gonna, yeah, I think we'll do some, I want to do some yeah, we'll get into, we'll get into that all in a little bit. We have a guest. Oh, and there's Phil. Good evening, Carolyn. Long time no see. I haven't seen you since this afternoon. Hello, Phil. Good raining evening. We have 2 minutes. And I know Brooke is joining us. I'll give her 2 minutes.
Hi, Joe.
Hi, Phil. I like that chicken in the background.
You may know the artist who painted it.
I may.
So just out of warning, I'm in the public safety building and they did go out on a call, so you might hear things over my head.
Cool.
I know, it's quite distracting for me. 1 minute and counting, Brooke. But we do have a quorum, so that's great. I'm so glad you all are used to me chairing a meeting because I do it on time.
Yeah,
Oh,
we have
there's
we have a-
Brooke. She's right on time.
All right.
Yeah, she's now staff, so we have a quorum of 4 out of 4.
Yeah,
I mean, or 5, yeah, because there's nobody left.
all right. So, well, okay, I'm just gonna start because we're all accounted for. Good raining evening. Hopefully, again, I'm the only one that went out on the roads. It's getting a little hairy and Barry. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. My name is Erica. For those of you who don't know me, I think we all know each other, but I'm gonna do a quick round just in case. It is 7 o'clock. I'm gonna call this meeting of the Barre City Task Force to order. My name is Erica Rail. I am the chair of this task force. I am a Barre City resident today. That's the hat I'm wearing. And I'm gonna popcorn it out to Phil.
Philip Morris, I'm actually the secretary of the committee. Again, just a resident.
Popcorn it out to Joe.
Hi, I'm Joe. I'm Joe Muller. I'm a resident.
Okay, Stephen.
Yes, and Joe is a guest. We're trying to get him onto the committee. I'm Steve Finner. I'm a Barre City resident, and I'm vice chair of the task force.
Chip.
Chip Castle. I live in Barre Town. Recently retired from Barre Housing Authority. Was asked by some of the folks in the city to be on the task force.
Have I missed anybody? Brooke.
Good evening, Community for Barre City Police Department.
And our guest, Carolyn.
Carolyn Redpath, and I'm on the Montpelier Homelessness Task Force. And I'm a resident of Montpelier.
That worked out.
Welcome, Carolyn. And I'm gonna pick on Carolyn a little bit because we're on the Montpelier Task Force together. So I'm gonna do some adjustments to the agenda. I did put out an agenda. And I'm gonna mix it up a little bit because just because, I think, we have some, I don't know if folks have been listening to the news or hearing, just working with folks. But we do have the hotel closings coming up very, very soon, and the overflow shelter is closing, April 15th. So I think that should be, moved kind of to the tippy top of the agenda and working with the subcommittees down low, if that's okay with folks.
I'm sorry, could you say that one more time?
Sure. So the hotel closings are coming up very, very soon. Actually, May 31st is the first round of people being exited from the hotel. And the overflow shelter in Montpelier is closing, April 15th. So I was hoping that we could move that to, under, under the fourth, approval of the minutes from the previous meeting.
Okay.
Just so we could talk about that first, if that's okay with folks.
Yes.
You with me.
Okay, so I'm gonna cut and paste that under approval for minutes. Thank you. And you do. And also we have, I'm sorry, I'm really hacking this agenda to death. Also, Everyone Eats has ended as of March 31st. And if we could just move that update under the hotel closing, if that's okay with folks.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you so much. You are so wonderful. I don't think we need a vote on this really. And then the other thing that Stephen was so wonderful to remind me of, and I kind of forgot this, is the reappointments and the committee. Stephen, please help me with this language. It's late for me. The committee resets. Can we move that under Everyone Eats ending so everybody's clear on how that works?
Mhm.
And then we can get to other business. How does that sound to folks? I can't see you, so I'm gonna do this.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. Okay. And Carolyn, that's more committee business. So I don't know if you want to hang out for that, but I know that you want to hang out for hotel closings and whatnot. So I don't really have this marked on my little cheat sheet here, so please bear with me, folks. Committee. Okay. So I think we need to vote on the consent agenda. Do we have a motion on the floor? Stephen is putting a motion on the floor. Do we have a second?
Sure.
I'll just chip and vote in the affirmative. Everybody yay, nay, yay,
Yeah.
Yay.
yay, and the ayes have it. Thank you all. Okay. Public comment. Seeing and hearing none. We only have one public person, which is Carolyn. Okay. Did everybody read the meeting minutes I sent around?
We still have two public members because Joe is not yet a member of the task force.
Oh, Brooke, you put something in the chat?
No, there's nothing to put in.
Sorry, I was just trying to, because Chief asked me if I would be part of the police staffing on this task force, so I don't get to vote anymore. So just when we're doing our voting and all that, I guess I don't count anymore.
That's
Yeah, we'll
correct.
Just wanted to let you know.
We'll get to that when we talk about membership, Brooke. Thank you.
Okay.
No idea what she said.
Yeah, so Brooke is no longer, so Brooke just said that she's no longer a voting member. So that's why
Oh,
she's not. And we'll get to that. So. All right. So sorry, approval from minutes. Did everybody read the minutes? Okay, and any comment about the minutes? Are we no,
I move approval of the minutes.
and a second. Second. I'll
Chip
second.
seconded.
Chip second
Yeah,
and
I was absent, so I don't know if I can vote
Don't know
on
what
that.
happened, yeah.
Yes, you can second a motion even though you were absent.
Okay,
Okay.
I'll second.
you second and vote to approve the minutes. Yay. Okay. Okay. Love it. All right. So updates, just moving right along. I keep looking at the clock, even though the clock stopped. Sorry, y'all. Updates on hotels closing. So, Brooke, please chime in as you will. Hopefully you will a little bit, and Carolyn, you as well, please, because I know that you were in the previous meeting as well. So if I forget anything, please, let me have it. Not literally, figuratively. So the hotels are closing. They're starting so let me back up. The overflow shelter in Montpelier is closing, April 15th. That is a hard date. Currently they have, a maximum of 15 people per night. So those will be 15 people, that will lose their housing, their night housing. As of May 31st will be the first round of hotel exodus, which will be 40% of people living in hotels in Washington County. Roughly, the rough estimate is 160 people countywide. So in Barre, we have folks in the Budget and Barre Town, the Hollow, the Paris, and that also is that we have folks in the Hilltop as well. I always include Hilltop, even though it's Berlin. And so that's 160 people that will lose their housing. And that's Washington County. I would say Washington County, so they'll be traveling to and from. We don't know, there's no plan of where those folks are going currently. The stipulation is folks that have families, children, folks that have a documented disability. That means they're currently on SSI or SSD. Folks, women that are pregnant and elderly will remain in housing under the current statute, which is great for those folks. We have a lot of people that do not have those stipulations. So where they are going, there is currently no plan. So we have a lot of folks. So looking at Barre as a whole, and we can also look at Montpelier, and we can also look at Berlin if you so choose, because they're all facing the same crisis. And I'm calling it a crisis, and I'm going to throw out emergency as well. Folks that are going to be camping, folks that are going to be possibly living in a car, folks that possibly, you know, screw it, I'm going to say it, definitely don't have a place to go to the bathroom regularly, folks that don't have a place to take a shower. They're going to be living in our backyards, literally. So, you know, we have to start urging, you know, I don't know what the mayor or what the police are. I don't know what their people are thinking. Is there going to be places for folks to camp? If there's going to be folks, you know, sleeping on the sidewalks, I don't know. We have to start thinking about where those resources are for folks to go. That's a lot. Right now, we're facing an emergency crisis. There's going to be folks out there. So I just said a lot. How can I answer any questions? Hopefully I can answer some questions that you all might have, or what we can do, or hopefully Brooke can, or hopefully
Of
anybody.
Of the one, you said a total of 160. How many of those would get to stay in housing because of the categories you just listed.
160 are people that are coming out. That's 40%. Carolyn, do you have a question or a comment?
I don't understand your answer.
The
So
number
that-
coming out is the 160.
The number coming out is roughly
Another
100.
60% would qualify as elderly or disabled, have a disability. Yeah.
Are
Mhm.
people staying in? Carolyn, you have a question, comment? You're muted, Carolyn.
The first thing that was important from our meeting today was that the police and the city managers and the fire departments from the 3 towns are meeting. So that will be helpful because maybe they can determine possible sites and how they're going to provide support for people. The bad news is I think that some of the medical and food supports that people have received are going to be cut in addition to everything else.
So that is correct, Carolyn. So like everyone eats, the food that was going up has stopped. That stopped March 31st. Oh, there's Lauren. Hi, Lauren. We're talking about the motel exodus that's happening. So everyone eats the food that was going up to the hotels, the extra food that was going up to all the hotels, the extra food that was coming to drop-in centers has stopped. March 31st was a drop dead date for all of that extra food.
After our last meeting, I did talk to somebody from BIG, which is the Barre Interfaith Group, also one of the local ministers and the director of VIA, and they don't have a plan either. I mean, VIA does systemic change, so they're pressuring the legislature to do something, and the churches have nothing in the pipeline. I don't know if Capstone does. I was going to contact them, but then I just got sidetracked. So I can tell you that much, that as of now, the churches plan on doing nothing. I think they may need to wait for the need to arise, and then they'll probably fill it. But it's just such an unknown to them, because in the past it was very predictable. You know, for almost 10 years, they did meals, they did breakfast, they were open until the library opened, and it was very regimented. Now they just don't know what to expect. So
Right, and that's what I've also tried to contact. This was a very bad week to contact anybody in the congregations because it was Holy Week, and there's a lot of unknowns. I know that Capstone is trying to set up with their cooking academy.
all right.
But so, yeah, that's that whole, you know, they're trying to fill, but that's only so much. But again, it's how much planning can we help with, you know, with the mayor and with the city manager of saying, now it's an emergency. Now it's a crisis. We're going to have folks on the streets. You know, how can we urge them to do more, and how can we step it up, and how can we get folks to know where there are safe camping sites, because they are going to camp in Playground 2000. They are going to, I still call it that. They are going to camp at Stevens Branch. They are going to camp in the bike paths. They are going to go back to behind Cumberland Farms. They are going to go back behind the school. You know, where are the safe places for folks to camp? You know, I'm trying to figure, you know, I guess this is more of a brainstorming. How can we, you know, what can we do as a committee or a task force, I apologize, to help the manager and help the mayor and urge them to get, you know, more services out there and help us get the word out to folks on the streets. Carolyn.
The Montpelier housing, the home, I keep getting confused with the housing people. I think I've got housing on the brain. The homelessness task force is putting together a list of what is going to be needed. And I think once that's completed, then it should come over to Barre so that Barre can take a look and start to incorporate that into their planning too.
That's a great idea, and perhaps another idea would be for a merger of Barre and Montpelier, because we're facing the same thing. I mean, we are sister towns or cities, if you will. You know, people come here, come here for services and go to Montpelier for services. I mean, we're very much linked.
Well, I think the thing to do in that event is to make sure that the people in Barre have the Lincoln agenda for what's happening in Montpelier and vice versa. That merging them may be difficult because Montpelier has primarily providers who work during the day and they take, it's part of their job practically. But at any rate, they meet during the day. You folks meet during the evening. So I don't know that there would be a meeting of the minds as to a time, but I think that certainly if each one has the knows what meetings are coming up and can participate in them, I think that's a good way of proceeding.
Stephen, you have your hand up?
Yes, there's no way to formally merge task forces of the two municipalities, but what we can do is what we're doing right now is be guests at each other's meetings. Erica participates in Montpelier, and you're always welcome here, Carolyn, as well as anybody else from Montpelier, so that we can share information and ideas. And I think that would be the working model we would want to pursue, because that's basically an extension of what we're doing now.
Brooke, you have your hand up?
I do. So I was a guest today at the Montpelier Task Force. So I think as long as we have open communication, I think that's huge. And also at our meeting the other day between the police chiefs and city managers, everyone, they also talked about like plans for like the bike path and what the policies are. So they want to make sure they're having clear policies across the board. So like, I forgot, I didn't get a chance to read it yet, but like Montpelier has like, you have to be 15-ish feet and bad with numbers off from the bike path or away from. So like, we just want to make sure we're doing the same exact thing. So I think that everyone is trying to merge this together as much as we can. And that's a random question, like, is the city council aware of like these deadlines? And should we be presenting something to them? And so that they can hear this immediate need. 160 people, are they all coming to Barre? No, but are they coming, like we're all good for sharing them. So I feel like the city council, even the sub meetings, like they need to be aware as well.
So that's, did everybody hear Brooke? Okay, so what Brooke was saying is that, and Brooke, please stop me if I'm translating you wrong, because I'm just going to be translating, not interpreting, is that there was a meeting about policy of camping and making sure that people were 15 feet away from the bike paths. And that she wanted to know that if council was aware of this hotel exodus, and if this would be something that council should be aware of, which is a very good question. Is council aware of this? And I don't think council is aware of this. And should this be something that's brought to council? Yes, I think so. And if so, should we bring, if so, who should be the one to bring it to council, and who should be the one And how should it be brought to council? Should we ask for time on council's agenda? And if so, who would be the one to speak for it? Stephen,
There are two ways we can do that. Brooke is now staff, which I assume means that she liaisons between the task force and the city manager, and she could inform him, and he in turn could inform council as part of his report. Or you could ask for time on the council meeting agenda to April 11th, and you could report it. I mean, either way, council would hear about it. Whether they would be prepared on April 11th to do anything about it is, of course, another question.
Phil,
Well, maybe Carolyn should talk first, because I thought you said that the town managers of both cities, the police and the fire department, were meeting about this. So hopefully they tell the city council is kind of where I was going.
so, yeah, that's an excellent point. Carolyn, did you
Yeah,
have
that was my understanding, was that the town managers were included in that meeting.
so maybe,
A formal,
ahead.
I would do a formal thing to council to let them know the magnitude of the problem.
Okay.
so Brooke wrote in the chat, the police chiefs are trying to be all on the same page. I was using the bike path as an example. Yes, the city managers were all there. So Brooke, my question to you, do you know if the if the manager is alerting the city council, or if this is something we should bring to city council as just a heads up?
I could reach out to Nick to see what his plan is, or Nicholas, sorry. And see what his plan is. Yeah, and then if he did not make them aware yet when his plan is, or if we need to stop and just at the council meeting, because I'm just thinking of like the warming shelter and like how we had to fight for that, and some of the council people were like, "Oh, you should have came to us sooner." And so I still want us to get in that situation. If we can come up with plans, it'd be nice if they were aware, so then they'll react maybe in a more time efficient way. Maybe.
Gotcha. Did everybody hear Brooke? Yes, no? Okay, so so what Brooke said is that she was gonna check in with Nicholas, who is our city manager, and then if not, then we would figure out if we can get on the agenda. And then because it was just like on the warming shelter, how city council was upset they didn't have time to plan ahead for this. So Brooke's homework is going to check in with city council, and if not, Brooke, do you want to speak to city council, or do you want me to speak to city council? I'm sorry, I can switch my phone and see if that helps with hearing. I think you're good. I think you're good. I can translate fine for you.
Okay. So I would gladly be there, but we all know I am with public speaking and I am most horrible at it. So I would go if I'm the last ditch effort. You're way more better spoken than I am. I froze in the police chiefs like in that meeting the other day. So I will do whatever is asked of me, and I will totally go with. If someone wants to come with me, that would probably be.
Gotcha. So Brooke says that she will do her due diligence in speaking to Nick about seeing what the city council knows. And then we'll figure out, we'll figure out if I need to speak at city council about this, or if and then she'll be there to support whoever does speak. Phil, you have your hand up.
Yeah, I was just going to say, if even if the city council is aware of it, if some kind of formal proposal or someone goes before the city council, then a lot more people will become aware of it, not just those 7 people on city council. I mean, the citizens of Barre, who are pretty good people, will become aware, and that's who probably is gonna need to step up.
Okay, I saw Lauren's hand and then Carolyn's. Hi,
Yeah.
Lauren.
Hi, guys. Sorry I haven't been at the last couple meetings. I did just want to mention that, the warming and welcome shelter, we were without staffing for some of this year. So we won't be turning in a robust request for a refund for staffing. But we had staff in the building and we kind of watched outside to see if people were coming around. I don't know if it was a chicken or egg thing. It's very possible people weren't coming to the shelter because they knew that there wasn't regular, available staff, or people weren't coming because they didn't need it. And then us not having staff wasn't a problem. But either way, I think that the instance of the hotels very suddenly closing and putting people out is a good opportunity to remind council that whether it's used regularly and by large numbers or it's not, it's kind of like having roads and hospitals. You hope to not use it. Well, not roads maybe, but like ambulances and hospitals and fire trucks. You hope to not use it, but you still need to always make sure you have some kind of basic foundation for it. And I think this can really speak to the fact that we should continue to have a homelessness task force, which I know was for a while in limbo, but also speak to the idea that we need to figure out how to establish some basic systems of support so that we can grow them in times like this instead of create them in times like this. And so I think it would be a good opportunity to just kind of reestablish we need a basic level of support and services here.
Thanks so much, Lauren. Carolyn.
I think that it would be good to go to the council and tell them that basically we have 350, I think it is, people in the shelter in the motels now, and that the 160 will be exiting. And I think the rest of them are supposed to be exited too, unless there's some sort of supplemental funding that maintains them. That the food situation, but to give the full picture of the magnitude of the catastrophe and the need for support. And one of the things that in the Montpelier task force, I didn't hear is we're going to need more outreach people too. And so that that is something that maybe both cities need to look at helping Good Sam fund another position for doing outreach to support the people that are unhoused.
No, I think you're definitely right. I think we definitely need more outreach, more people on the street, just checking on folks. Okay, so this is an emergency happening. We have a plan that we're going to go to council and alert them on April 11th. That's next week. Okay. I guess I'm speaking with y'all backing me up, right? Yeah.
Yep.
All right. All right. Carolyn, thank you for picking me up where I was dropping the ball. I appreciate that because it's late for me. Usually I'm at home with my jammies. So I already covered that Everyone Eats has ended. March 31st, people are picking up where they can. I can tell you that right now it's hard to get in touch with some of the churches. There's a holiday, it's the holiday week for a lot of churches. Capstone is trying their best to work with a lot of the places that do meals Some of the drop-in places are picking up some of the slack as much as possible. The food pantries are really hurting. So if any of you work with organizations that do food drives, please do what you can to do more food drives, pick up an extra, talk to your friends and neighbors about picking up something extra when they go out to food shop. But people are really hungry right now. I know I don't like it, but so am I. Sorry, bad joke. But yeah, everyone eats is gone. And just a little hint, if you're picking up canned goods, get the things with pop lids. Cans are great, but they need the pop lids because can openers are really hard to come by when you're on the streets. Carolyn.
One of the things that came up in our meeting was that Another Way is going to be acquiring sleeping bags for people. So Barry might be able to do something along that line. That's something very tangible that people can wrap their arms around, is what do people need for emergency housing outside?
Yeah, we're very fortunate that we have Good Sam right on Seminary. And we do a lot of donations with them. So what time? I don't want to keep everybody here late. It is 7:30. Just we need to get some business going with the committee reappointments and the committee resets. I apologize. This might be boring for some people, especially our guests. So Carolyn, if you want to stop listening for a little bit, that's fine. Stephen, I'm going to stop talking and let you take over for a little bit because this is more your forte than mine, the business end.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm gonna let you take over.
Okay, Carolyn, you may want to lower your hand for a bit. Okay, here's the situation, and it's been a little bit fluid. First of all, the task force now continues as it has been as a separate body of the city. The current members of the task force are Erica, myself, Philip, Chip, and that's it. Those four. We're entitled to 7. Brooke has now moved over from being a member to being a staff person, as you heard. And Joseph, as far as I know, your application is live. And if you contact the city manager, he should be able to get it on the agenda for approval next Tuesday night. Lauren, you are not carried as a member of the task force, and as you know, you were missing meetings. You have a choice because, again, we have vacancies. If you want to be on the task force, I urge you to contact the city manager right away. You will have to fill out the application, etc., and that probably won't get cleared in time for the meeting on April 11th, would be my guess, because your time is probably limited, and then whatever else is being planned, but it could happen in subsequent meeting. That's not a big deal. Or you may want to choose to be on the list for everything and show up for meetings as a guest or whatever. So you have some choice. You have a choice to make, and it's something that you want to think about and then decide what you want to do. Chip had it. Yes, Lauren. You have a
I just,
question?
I'm happy to serve if that helps, but I know that because I run the library and the library has typically been just like a kind of a third party partner in previous requests for warming shelter, funding and support. I'm okay to just be a guest if that makes things easier, in terms of working with me and the task force then not asking for money for part of, an organization of one of its members to run a homeless shelter. So
I don't see any problem with that at all. And again, it really comes back to your time. Uh, they're going to be more attentive to people missing meeting, and if you miss 4 meetings, you're automatically removed from a body or a task force. So again, it's really your decision. Whatever works best for you will work best for us, as far as I can see.
Lauren, it's
And
not that we don't want you, it's just we know that you're busy.
yeah, so again, it's your decision, and I would suggest you let me or Erica know when you decided, and then we just move from there. Uh, Chip, you were going to indicate that you weren't going to stand for reappointment, but what they are doing now is Erica, myself, Philip, and you will be reappointed next Tuesday night through 2024. So you can choose just to, hang on or be with us for another year, Chip, and then, decide not to apply for reappointment or whatever then. Or you may want to resign now because I know the turning point is your major project. Again, totally up to you. Just let us know what you want to do, when you decide what you want to do. Uh, and I think that takes care of it at this point. If Chip stays on and if Warren joins us, then we would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 by my count. Uh, and so, uh, and of those 6, uh, 3 of us are city residents, uh, and 3 would be, do I have that straight? No, 4 would be city residents. I'm sorry, because that's Erica, myself, Joe, if he comes on, and Philip. So we could easily have 2 or 3 in addition who are not city residents. Uh, so again, that's where things stand as of now. What I sent you, I forwarded you a memo from the manager that said, this is what I'm taking to council for approval next week. Brooke will become the assigned staff person since she works for the city. I am proposing 2-year terms and assigning the current sitting members to terms to 2024. So you don't have to go through the appointment process this year. There will be 3 vacant seats that need filling in June 2023. So are there any questions about any of that? Okay, again, to summarize, Joe, please contact the manager, Lauren, kick it around and decide, let us know. And Chip, you do the same. And that takes care of it.
So they left us alone. We're
And they
all
left
by
us
ourselves.
alone. Because of that memo that we wrote, I got feedback from 3 members of city council saying that memo really struck a chord with people. And there were 2 other task forces that were doing the same thing. So they heard, they put out a proposal and heard from people and responded accordingly. I think the process played out very well.
I
And
guess
if
I guess I'd like to ask a couple of questions of the group at large then, because I mean, I didn't agree kind of like with what the group agreed to do. And I remained silent so I wouldn't cast any shadows on your guys' thinking. Frankly, I didn't see the harm of consolidating committees. I know that that's a minority opinion and that's just my opinion, but I kept it to myself. I didn't blab in front of the manager or anybody else.
Mhm.
I mean, my experience comes in creating housing and trying to develop housing and working in housing. And we served, when I was at the Housing Authority, lots of homeless people were in housing.
Mhm.
Another concern that's on the table right now, I know because I speak to folks at my old place, and I also hear things on the street, is one of the big fears is that people who legitimately lease in public housing are now going to have squatters when the motels close. And it's going to create even more problems for the police and for Barre Housing Authority and others involved for illegal guests living at the properties, because everybody knows it's very difficult to get people out. You know, so I don't know where I stand on this. I guess I would know a little bit better if, you know, is our job to go to the city council and say, you know, there so many people are in the motels, as you probably know, and 40% of them are getting the boot, you know, come up in April. And I don't know if there's a second date for these more vulnerable folks, you know, when they run out of money or whatever. Are we
June 30th.
asking them to do something? Are we proposing to do something? That's where I'm lost in this discussion. I don't know what the gist of it is. Do we need more shelters?
So the concerns that Barre Housing and Montpelier Housing and Vermont, all the housing are concerns.
Sure.
You know, I have deep concerns that there's going to be more violence. There's going to be more what have you on the streets.
Yep.
The concerns that I have is, where can people safely go to be safe and to camp? You know, I have concerns for women that are outside camping. I have concerns for vulnerable adults outside camping. And I also have concerns for, you know, I don't have a magic wand to say, I have the answers for these folks, these 160 folks, or I don't have a magic wand for the 400 plus people that are going to be on the streets in June.
Right.
But I want to know where I can safely point somebody and say, you're going to be safe over there. You know, nobody is going to harm you. Nobody is going to kick you out. Nobody's going to call the cops on you. So those, you know, I didn't have a problem, you know, going back to your question of, yeah, I would love to see them build more housing. I didn't have a problem with them consolidating us with housing. However, I did not feel that our chemistry mixed, because housing is one issue. We're working on homelessness. Homelessness is a caveat of many different things. Housing is housing. That was my issue.
Yeah.
Did I answer
I
your
would,
question?
I would suggest, Chip, that these are things you may want to think about, you know, but you're not in any rush. You will be reappointed through 24. I would say stay on the group, keep coming to meetings, and if there reaches a point where you think it's better that you do something else, then you do it. So, you know, there's nothing really that you have to do right now.
Yeah. Which
Carolyn, sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
that's a weird way for me to do stuff, Steve.
Well, whatever you want to do, it's your
Yeah.
decision.
Yeah, no, I realize that. I'm not telling you, please tell me what to do. And
Yeah.
I'm just trying to figure out where I might be able to help in a more appropriate manner than I'm doing now. You know,
The other
I
thing
guess,
is that,
are there
as you
safe
know,
places to camp?
There are.
let me just
There
finish.
are.
Let me just finish. Let me just finish. Please. And remember, there have been the ongoing activities that we've been engaged in, and that will continue. The compiling and recompiling of places where people can go to eat, maybe dealing in a similar way with list of public bathrooms. Uh, there's still an interest in teaching the homeless about the bus system. So we have other ongoing projects which
Right.
will be continuing.
So Carolyn has her hand up. You're on mute, Carolyn.
Now I gotta click everything, get my hand down. In Montpelier, we have a housing committee and we have the homelessness task force. I'm the liaison between, or whatever, between the homelessness task force and the housing committee. The housing committee is now a standing committee for the city. What they tend to do is look at all aspects of housing in Montpelier and what are the barriers to building housing? What are the needs for housing? So it's very focused activity. Do we need to change zoning laws? How does Act 250 interfere? This kind of thing. Whereas the homelessness task force is a much more immediate thing, as we have people who do not have housing. So how are we going to accommodate them and help meet their needs? Does that help, Chip?
Yes, and I understood that. I still don't think that the two, I still think the two could work just fine together. Not one outdoing the other. It doesn't make any sense to me to set it up this way, but that's fine. That you're set up that way, that's great.
No, and
So-
that's fine. And actually, Chip, the Turning Point Center was brought up, and can we set up a meeting offline about the Turning Point Center at some point?
Sure, sure.
Great,
Any-
awesome.
Anytime. I'd love to do that.
I'll email you and we'll set up a time offline about that, because I want to talk to you about that. Sorry, totally different topic. Anyway, we are, because I am one of those people, you know me in meetings. So the other thing, because it's going to be an immediate need, and we're looking at immediate needs right now, okay, resource guides. We've really got to get the, because it's coming into an emergency, we've got to get these resource guides going. I need, I've always, I've started and stopped on these. I need somebody who can help me. I really want to start doing resource guides, but I need some people that can really spend time with me on these and can kick me in the tushy, if you will, and help me get going on these. Who can I get for a committee to help me with resource guides?
I can be a committee of one just to work with you to make sure that the spreadsheet is accurate.
Okay, and can I get somebody else that is also a good person to kick me in the tushy and get deadlines? Joe and Steven. All right. All right. Phil, I know that you have a lot of, all right. So Washington County Mental Health updated their pocket guide. Really? Since when? Okay. You're on mute. Brooke,
If you want me,
can you send it to me, Brooke?
sorry. You put my station. You want me to bring you up here so you can look at it?
Yeah, can you send me a PDF?
Yeah.
Okay, so what we're looking at is a meal resource guide and a resource guide of just Barre, welcome to Barre. Awesome. Okay. 10 minutes. So I'm going to, we got a lot done. Is there anything on the agenda that's burning and yearning that we really have to get to tonight? Wow, silent. Phil left the room. All right, I'm not seeing anything.
Oh, I'm still listening. I had to take something out of the oven, sorry.
Oh, is it my dinner, Phil?
Yeah. It's someone's dinner, but I'm still listening. So.
Okay, is there anything that we really need to get off the agenda that I totally butchered tonight? I'm not seeing any hands.
I'm just quickly looking. You mentioned resource guide.
Yeah,
We certainly don't need to deal with wish lists tonight.
not tonight.
Unless somebody feels a need, we probably can let the monetary donations question go for another month, because we still would have to find pass-throughs or however all we want to do that. And I don't know what outreach is, so I won't comment on that. But I don't see anything that we haven't covered that did not need to be immediately covered.
No, I think we kind of got it. So I think we all have homework. Stephen and
Chip has-
Joe. Oh, sorry,
Chip
Chip.
has his,
I'm just wondering, is safe places to camp, is that part of the resource guide?
That is going to eventually be part of the resource guide, but I have to talk to, that's follow up with the police chiefs and the city manager and whatnot. That is not going to be there. Those are questions, those are to be announced, if you will.
that was that's a good question though. Thank you, Chip.
If you notice, I did a magical floral of my hands with that one. I'm gonna wave a magic wand and they're gonna magically, no, it's gonna be a work in progress for those. But that's a great question. That is why you're on this committee. To answer those questions.
Okay.
Oh, Brooke already did her homework. She gets a gold star. And Carolyn's gonna rate my chair performance over our other chair. So yeah, it's a long night. I'm going to, so, and then Steve and Joe are going, Lauren, do you have a closing? Nope. I also owe Lauren a book that she let me borrow like 3 months ago. Thank God it wasn't a library book because I don't have dues. So Carolyn Lauren is our city librarian. She's amazing. And if you ever need a resource, Lauren is your person, especially when it comes to homelessness issues, because they are fabulous. So yeah, I'm gonna call this meeting. I'm gonna close this meeting. Can I get a motion to, yes, Stephen.
I just want to mention, Joe, I'll follow up with you as to where things are. And Lauren, I will probably try to contact you to find out where things are so we can move that along. Thank you.
All right.
I will just say I just hired an admin assistant. It's the first time we've had one. So hopefully I'll have some like reprieve from work, and I'm looking forward to working on programs with you for that, with that time.
You all are the best. I can't ask for a better committee. I'm gonna tell you what. All right. Thank you all for all that you do. Please stay warm on this night. Thank you. You do the best work ever. Oh, I need to move to adjourn. I'm sorry. Can I get a second? Oh, Chip seconds. All in favor? Bye, y'all. Have a great night.
Thank you very much, Carolyn.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay.
Thank you.